Good Sunday, everybody, and welcome to another one of my multi-platform live streams of the Get Fit and Be Lean program. I'm Dr. Frank Cadle, and the attendance on this has been pretty slow. I may have to reevaluate whether I'm going to continue to do them. I initially started with my live streams on the TikTok platform where I had over 70,000 followers, and we're getting quite a few people coming by making comments. If you do join us, I would ask you to share this live stream, make a comment, and give some likes to my profiles so that you can help me spread the word of the Get Fit and Be Lean program. I used the Get Fit and Be Lean program to lose over 20% of my body weight in 2021. I lost more than 5 inches off my waist and lowered my cholesterol by more than 20 points. I lowered my systolic blood pressure by more than 20 millimeters of mercury. I lowered my heart rate at rest by more than 30 beats a minute and stopped having the irregular heartbeats that I was having called PACs. I want to talk a little about why diets don't work. Last week, I talked a lot about the fact that diets don't work. The research is just indisputable. You're welcome to go take a look at my Twitter feed where I've posted a link to quite a few articles. Most recently, one from a study of the candidates who participated in the program called The Biggest Loser. And many of these people did participate in a extensive and multifaceted program that used a variety of different techniques. A lot of them lost 50 pounds or more. Some of them lost hundreds of pounds. However, the long-term duration of that weight loss was quite limited. And this is consistent with studies across the board that look at diets from the keto to the other fasting type calorie deprivation diets. They just in the long term tend to fall short. And I think that's really intuitive. There's a lot of scientific background to it, but I think that anyone who looks around, particularly in the Western world, and recognizes that over $70 billion will be spent this year on diets, supplements, and other approaches to weight loss. However, the rate of people being overweight and the rate of obesity is increasing. And I really want to brush aside the idea of the fat and fit positivity crowd that tends to think that this doesn't really matter. It does matter. And anyone who them to take a look at the coming out about the COVID-19 pandemic and its impact related to obesity and being overweight. There's a linear relationship between body mass index and the likelihood of hospitalization with serious illness or mortality and death. And so to say that it's not a disease state, I think it would be a misnomer. And I think that success in this realm, like just about any realm, starts with self-love. I don't think you can be repulsed and still give yourself the kind of support and tools that you need. But I also think that the first step to any problem is identifying the problem. And the problem with being overweight is a problem of too many calories in and not enough calories out. However, there is a limit to how much of that we can control. And the fact is that our calories out are determined by our activity level, but also determined by our resting basic metabolic rate. And unfortunately, when you undergo a significant amount of weight loss due to a prolonged calorie imbalance, what we see is that your basic metabolic rate is decreased. And this is shown across the board and can be as many as 100, 150 calories a day, which is enough to push someone into a calorie imbalance and determine whether they are gaining or losing weight. So why don't diets work? Well, when we gain weight, what we do is we send signals from our fat cells to what are called mesenchymal pluripotential cells. These are cells in the body that can become almost anything. And when we're eating more calories than we are expending, what we find is that those fat cells send out chemicals to recruit new fat cells. So your fat cells increase not just in size from the lipids that they store, but also in number. However, when we lose weight, what has been shown clearly that really wasn't understood even just 10 or 15 years ago is that those fat cells have a specific lifespan that doesn't change. And so they get smaller, but they don't decrease in number, and they still continue to send out the biochemical signals. Oh, welcome, Antonio. Thank you for coming by. The biochemical signals that tell us that we're hungry, even if we really have no reason to be, that tell us that we're not full, even when we are. They have direct impacts on the stretch receptors and the satiety center in the brain that determines when you've had enough to eat. And these fat cells are really pretty selfish. They're really only interested in self-preservation and want to kind of continue in perpetuity. And these signals can really make it difficult to maintain any kind of regular calorie deprivation. And this is one of the reasons that the Get Fit and Be Lean program is a two-pronged program that works so much on calisthenics and stresses portion control as opposed to calorie deprivation. And I really don't believe that any kind of restrictive diets that try to eliminate entire food groups like the keto diet and the carnivore diet. I don't ascribe to vegetarianism myself. It's not an unhealthy lifestyle. It's a fine lifestyle, and people do it for philosophical reasons. But there isn't a lot of indication that it's an underlying approach to being skinny, losing weight. And so I think that any program that is going to be sustainable in the long term has to fit within the individual's culture, the individual's historic kind of eating patterns. We have to take these into account, because if you just tell people don't eat this and don't eat that, I don't think that tends to be a very successful process. So why don't diets work? Thermogenic adaptation, the selfish behavior of fat cells, and the fact that they increase in number and size when we gain weight, and they decrease in size but not in number when we lose weight. And all of these different signals that we get about portion sizes, portion creep, we see in different commercial provisions of food, that supersize me culture tends to vastly overestimate the amount of calories that you need to take in from a single meal. Someone made a comment on one of my Instagram videos this week about counting calories. I don't count calories. I'm aware of calories, but I really relate them back to serving size. And you'll look at the sodas that I drink, they come in the little 7-ounce cans. Those 7-ounce cans are considered to be one serving. Excuse me. And with a single serving, however, you can get a 16-ounce soda. And a 16-ounce soda obviously has vastly more calories. So in counting calories, that's not something I'm going to do in the long term. That's why I don't make it one of the foundational aspects. Obviously, it is the final determination as to whether or not you lose weight, calories in versus calories out. But when you say it in that simple fashion, it unfortunately ignores the reality that you don't have complete control over the calories out. Those are actually determined by your body. And this is one of the problems, even looking at calories. Calories are an engineering term. They're talking about engines. Your body is not an engine. Your body is more like a manufacturing complex. And so the activity of all the workers in the complex has a role. The amount of materials that you get to work with and what those materials go for plays a role. And while a calorie is a calorie and your body can lose weight even if you're eating all your calories and sugar, the fact is that your body's more likely to build those tissues that you need in response to an active level of physical exertion if you are getting all of the nutrients you need for your body to do so. And this is why I focus so much on the 2 veggie rule. That's 2 servings of raw or steamed vegetables at lunch and 2 servings at dinner. Typically, when I ask my patients what is a vegetable, they'll tell me lettuce. Thumbs up. Lettuce is leafy green, grows above the ground. But then they'll come up with tomatoes. And tomatoes are a berry. They are thin skin covering over seeds and nutrients designed to help those seeds reproduce. So a berry is not a vegetable in the meaning that I use for the Get Fit and Be Lean program. Carrots, same thing. It's a tuber. It's a starch. It grows below the ground. It's a storage organ for the plant. I'm talking about the leafy green energy organs of the plant that grow above the ground. And if you can only come up with one, lettuce, you're going to have a difficult time getting 2 servings at lunch and another 2 servings at dinner. So I've had to myself really broaden my approach to my diet. This is the one real change that I've had to make as a result of the Get Fit and Be Lean program. But I want to emphasize that this diet is not something I'm on. This is a diet that I have. I have a diet that is rich in leafy green vegetables. And what are those? Spinach, kale, arugula, chard, fennel, all these leafy green things that grow above the ground that I've expanded my diet to include as I have continued to eat all of the foods that I love. And I'm going to talk a little bit about that this week. I'm going to put out some videos to talk this week about sleep. That's what my next week's live stream is going to be about, is sleep and the vital role that sleep plays in weight loss and maintenance of weight loss and physical fitness. So if you enjoy my videos, please share them. Please make a comment. Please throw a like or go to my Twitter account and retweet my tweets about articles on fitness and nutrition. And I'm going to continue to do this for at least a few months and take a look at whether or not it's really paying off as far as engagement. I do seem to be getting quite a few views, but not a lot of comments or shares on my videos, the kind of things that really help build a following. Like I said, I had 70,000 followers on TikTok. I'm not able to really post there right now because of the role that they've been playing in misinformation associated with the Ukrainian war. But I hope to go back there at some point. It's a little more fun. I try to treat this a little more professionally, so it tends to be a little more stodgy and lecture-like. But let me know your questions. Please take a look at my videos. If you have any questions, please comment. I might post a whole video just to respond to your question. And please join me next week at 7 p.m. Sunday. And we're going to talk about sleep and what we call sleep hygiene in the medical profession and the role that sleep plays in fitness and nutrition. Myself, my sleep is so much better since I lost 20% of my body weight. I really stopped snoring completely. And I could sleep, 11 hours a day and still feel groggy all the time because I wasn't getting continuous sleep. But now I'm able to really get a good night's sleep, but sleep a lot more than I used to when I was a surgical resident and had a surgical practice of my own where I was a solo physician. There were a lot of 4-hour nights there in the Navy when I was serving before I ever went back to medical school. So I really see sleep as a vital part of happiness and emotional well-being and all kinds of other aspects of health in addition to nutrition and fitness. And so I'm going to talk about that this week. Those will be the articles that I tweet on my account. And hopefully somebody will retweet those and give me some likes and shares so that I can build a following. Thank you very much. And I look forward to seeing you guys next week.